the world is completely meaningless and completely meaningful at the same time. And these two seeming contradictions coexist at the same time and can never be divided. The world as you know it is just an image, just a representation in your mind. And it sounds so unbelievable because we don't realize that when we look at the world, we are not actually looking. We are thinking about what we are looking at. And it's only because we're looking through that thought, through that meaning, through that image, and we have this whole universe in our minds that represents this world. So slow down for a moment and just notice somebody who speaks a completely different language from yours that you've never learned, which means you don't have any associated images in your mind about the meaning. But someone who has apparently learned this language has a mind full of these images. It's a mind of meaning. Everything exists there as a thought, as a story, as an image. Everything has a past and has a future. And everything means something about you. And when you don't have that, when you don't have those images and those thoughts and those representations and symbols and opinions and judgments and so on, there's nothing there. And only with that nothing you are able to experience or to notice what there really is in reality. And so what there really is in reality could be compared to what it sounds like to you when you're listening to this person who speaks in a completely different language. Those are not even words that you're hearing. Those are just sounds. They make no sense, no meaning, because there is nothing in your mind that you can compare them to. There's nothing in your mind that overshadows this nothingness with the meaning. And so it's just so nice to notice that the whole world, as you know it, or as you think you know it, is just that meaninglessness that is impossible to describe. And that is completely impossible to understand. And then there is those stories, or at least they appear to be. And what they really are, again, just images about past and future, representations of what is, which we constantly mistake for what is. And I'm not saying this because it's something wrong that we do. It's just something that we can't help. The person that we believe to be is a thought, is a belief, is a story. It doesn't exist in the now. You would never find the person in the now. The person or the self and time and a story are all synonymous, because one can never be without the other. And in reality, none of them really exist. They are just appearances, just ghosts, beliefs, invisible images, inaudible thoughts that somehow we mistake for reality. And ultimately, even reality is a dream. Is this illusion that arises when there seems to be something sandwiched between the past and future, between the story of the past and the story of the future. But the now is a first-degree dream, and I call it reality. Because most people, or all people in your story, will agree on what real is. And that includes your enemies. But when you get into the second-degree dream, which only exists as nothing, as a thought, as a story, as an opinion, as a judgment, as an image, inaudible thought, inaudible voice, nothingness, and then there is the second-degree dream. The story that has no connection to reality. In that story, there is always duality. There is before and after, good and bad, better and worse, inferior, superior. And in this dream, anyone you consider enemies, they wouldn't agree with the version of your story. And you wouldn't agree with theirs. So, living in this reality, in this assumed second-degree reality, is living in assumptions, in confusion, and in suffering. And true liberation is more simple then you think it's more simple than you imagine, because it's not a realm of imagination. It cannot be thought of. It is realized when we really look, without the stories and without those images. But to be able to look without the images, without the assumed universe that we constantly mistake for this, first we'd have to notice. And noticing is the hard part, because it's just not so obvious. Most of the time we don't notice. It's like we are hypnotized into this imaginary world that never existed and never exists, never will exist, except as a thought, as an invisible image and appearance. And what you truly are is that discernment. And so the world is completely meaningless and also meaningful at the same time.